Welcome back to The Soil Architect. If you've ever looked at a steep highway embankment or a massive earthen dam and wondered why the whole thing doesn't just slide into the road, you're in the right place. Today we're stepping back to 1937 to talk about a man named Donald Taylor. In an era before supercomputers and complex modeling software, Taylor looked at the chaotic physics of dirt and decided to find a way to make it predictable. He created what we now call the Taylor Stability Chart, a tool that turned the messy reality of slope failure into a clean, elegant mathematical reference. In geotechnical engineering, the factor of safety is the holy grail. It's the thin line between a project that stands for a century and a disaster that makes the evening news. Before Taylor, calculating this factor for a cohesive soil slope was a grueling process of trial and error, involving drawing hundreds of potential failure circles by hand. Taylor realized that if the soil was homogeneous, meaning it was the same stuff all the way through, he could simplify those infinite variables into a single, dimensionless value called the stability number. It was the engineering equivalent of a cheat code for the physical world. The genius of the chart lies in its simplicity. You have your x-axis representing the slope angle and your y-axis representing the stability number. Between them, you have these graceful curves representing the soil's internal friction angle. By simply finding where your slope's geometry meets the soil's strength properties, you can instantly determine if your design is sound. It's a visual representation of the battle between gravity, which wants to pull the slope down, and cohesion, which is the glue holding the soil particles together. One of the most fascinating quirks Taylor discovered is what we now call the 53-degree rule. He found that for purely cohesive soils, like soft clay, the physics of the failure actually changes depending on the steepness of the hill. If a slope is steeper than 53 degrees, the soil will almost always fail at the toe or the very bottom corner of the hill. But if the slope is shallower than that, the failure can go much deeper, creating a massive base failure that reaches far below the surface. Taylor's charts were the first to give engineers a way to visualize these deep, hidden risks. However, as elegant as these charts are, they come with a warning. Taylor's work assumes a bit of a perfect world. It assumes the soil is the same top to bottom, and perhaps most importantly, it doesn't account for the engineer's greatest enemy, water. Poor water pressure and seepage can turn a stable slope into a liquid nightmare in minutes, and Taylor's basic chart isn't designed to calculate that. It's a foundational tool, a starting point, but it requires the engineer to understand that nature rarely follows a perfectly straight line. So why do we still talk about a chart from the 1930s in the age of AI and 3D modeling? Because it provides intuition. A modern engineer can plug numbers into a computer and get a result. But using Taylor's chart requires you to look at the relationship between height, weight, and strength. It teaches you the feel of the land. It's a reminder that beneath every skyscraper and bridge, there is a fundamental balance of forces that we must respect. Thanks for joining us on The Soil Architect. Next time, we're diving into the mystery of quicksand. Stay grounded.